Hi, my name is Regina Lewin. The cultural group I chose to speak about is the bisexual culture. I have two very good girlfriends that are bisexual, so the only thing I know about bisexual culture is because of them. So I am curious to know about how other people feel about being bisexual and just the culture in general, especially in the healthcare setting. I was surprised to find out that bisexual people also encounter stereotypes within their own gay community as well as the straight community. So that was interesting to learn. Bisexual people don't necessarily have any diet, food, or language customs per se, but they do have norms. I found a good article called Getting Bi in the Family by Bisexual People's Disclosure Experiences. The author is Kristen Schreier, Emily Cognac, and Rachel Schmitz. I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong. The source is Journal of Marriage and Family, June 2015, published by National Council on Family Relations. So this article was specifically about family, coming out to your family, and as a bisexual person, or not coming out to your family, and what your strategies are, your experiences are, and some studies on that. So they found that bisexual people with traditional or conservative parents are less likely to be out. And if you have a really close relationship with your family, you'll more likely come out to them. If you're not so close to them, you won't. There's a lot of misunderstandings with family about bisexuals, because when a bisexual person is dating the opposite sex, they'll be confused and they'll say, well, I thought you were bisexual. Bisexual means you are with both. So for them, it can get a little confusing when it looks like you're just having a straight relationship. So bisexuals usually have these expectations from their family to have a negative reaction when they come out. So they'll use different strategies to achieve their desired outcomes. Like they will kind of poke and pry and ask questions and see what their family thinks about bisexuality first before they decide if they want to come out or not. So if the family expresses some kind of, rejection towards that, they won't come out. Also, some bisexual people, if they decide to marry the opposite sex, if a woman decides she wanted to marry a man, she won't come out to the family because she married a man, and they can just keep going on thinking that she's straight, and then she doesn't have to go through the whole process of coming out. For men, in turn, they sometimes don't come out to their family because they don't want to, they're expected to pass on the family name, the family lineage, and they don't want to disappoint their family by saying that might not happen, so they won't come out either. Also, age and generation matters when a bisexual person wants to come out. If it's like a grandparent and they have very old school values about sexuality, they tend to not come out to them either. And also there's usually a negative experience for bisexuals coming out because of negative representations called bi-negativity and biphobia. And that's when people think of bisexuality as transitory and something on your way to being what you're going to be, because you're confused. So eventually you're bisexual now, but you won't be later. You'll be either gay or straight. It's like a temporary identity, so to speak. I found a good article about stereotypes. It's called Myths of Bisexuality, Author is Joy Morgensen. Source is the book called Off Our Backs, June 2004, published by Off Our Backs, Inc. So there are a lot of stereotypes, and some of them are promiscuity, greed, unfaithful, because bisexuals are viewed as, wanting to have sexual relations with both at all times and not being satisfied with just one. If a bisexual woman is with a man, she's straight. If she's with a woman, she's gay. They won't just see her as bisexual. They're called liars. They get picked on, and they get things like pick a lane or choose a team. They're also called confused and still in the closet. Some common misconceptions about bisexuality is that they're expected to be attracted to men and women equally, where sometimes with bisexuality you can be more attracted to men or more attracted to women. It doesn't have to be 50-50. Also, in this article particularly, it says that lesbians tend to use sexuality as a political statement, so they view other female bisexuals as traitors or betrayers of the sisterhood. But lesbians are sometimes attracted to men or are kind of bisexual, but they still define themselves as lesbians because their relationships with women are the primary motivating force in their lives, politically and or emotionally driven. There are some good stereotypes. They never have to question their sexuality. They're free to pursue any gender. Bold, fearless, refusal to conform, comfortable with who they are, and sexually diverse. Found a very good article about bisexual women in particular and healthcare. It's called Understanding Young Bisexual Women's Sexual, Reproductive, and Mental Health Through Syndemic Theory. Authors are Corey Flanders, Giselle Ghost, Cheryl Domstein, Carmen Logie. Source, Canadian Journal, December 2015, published by Canadian Public Health Association. So, in this article, they mention that bisexuality is a systemic belief that bisexuality is not a legitimate sexual identity, and because of this social marginalization, bisexual women experience higher rates of anxiety, depression, mood disorders, higher rates of suicide, and negative sexual and reproductive health experiences compared to heterosexual women. They're also 40% more likely to be transmitted with sexually transmitted infection. Bisexual women have reported greater rates of adult sexual victimization and higher rates of intimate partner violence. They also abuse alcohol and drug more so than lesbians. But these health disparities are driven by social marginalization. So sometimes illnesses stem from stigma, phobia, and monosexism. And there's also a lot of lack of research on bisexual women's health. Some participants discussed how mental and sexual risk behaviors were connected and exacerbated by social marginalization. And the bisexual people were with partners who were expecting them to be a little bit more risky, so they felt that pressure to live up to the expectations from their partner and went along and were a little bit riskier. I interviewed my friend Maggie. She's bisexual. She's 39 years old. She's a journalist. She's recently divorced, but she was married with a man for 20 years. And her experience was interesting. She was with her husband, but they were both open to being with other women together. So they would both, as a couple, date other women, sometimes just because Maggie was bisexual and she was open to that. But she never talked about it with her friends and family, so no one really ever knew except her husband that she was bisexual. And she felt like she couldn't come out to her friends and family or the gay community because she always felt like an imposter, like she was married to a man and she liked women, but like she didn't feel like she would fit into the gay community because she wasn't all the way a lesbian. And so she felt like not comfortable coming out to her mother either because her mother was this die-hard Christian and her religious beliefs made her uncomfortable because her mother believed so much in her religion that she refused to get cancer chemo because she thought God was going to cure her from her illness. I mean, it was very religious. Like any mention of bisexuality would make her very upset, and she wanted to be close to her mother, so she never told her. So she did feel that pressure not to tell people because of many reasons. But she did come out recently, being bisexual this year, actually, and she immediately got questions about her sexuality and them telling her, well, are you sure? So it's immediately like, you're confused. So going back to my research, it does make sense that the stereotypes are that you're in a transition phase, and that's what people immediate reaction was. It wasn't like, oh well, congratulations, you're out, you're comfortable now. It's like, are you sure? I don't know, like, you never talked about this to me before, so she did have that negative experience. But okay, I think I'm over time. Sorry. That's all. Thank you.